Scene 2, time, following day. Place, the office of Dr. Leo Kepperman. Seated in the office are Dave and Dr. Kepperman.
Where am I?
You are in the office of Dr. Leo Kepperman, located in the inpatient psychiatric service of City Medical Center. I am Dr. Kepperman.
Psychiatric service. What am I doing in here?
Don't you remember?
No, I don't. Everything seems so hazy. I remember talking with my buddies, and then everything became a blank. Until now.
Your friends called an ambulance, which took you to our emergency room. From there, you were admitted to the hospital.
Well, I'm feeling fine now, so I guess I'll be leaving.
Not until we have finished a complete evaluation of your mental state to make sure you're all right.
I don't need my mental state evaluated. I told you I'm feeling fine.
You came to us in a completely psychotic state. We gave you some antipsychotic medications to stabilize you. Now, let's continue.
No, I'm leaving. I want no part of you or your crummy hospital.
I'm afraid that's out of the question. Under law, we can hold you here for up to 72 hours.
You can shove your law up your you-know-where. I didn't ask to come here, and I certainly have no desire to talk with you.
Look, we want to help you. We want to make sure that you don't wind up back here again. Okay?
It's not okay, but there's not much I can do about it now.
That's better. Now, let us begin. Your name,
David Hallett, or is it Frank Covington?
your age,
68 or somewhere around that.
place of birth,
Minneapolis, Minnesota, or Biloxi, Mississippi, or Brooklyn, New York, one of those places.
occupation.
I'm retired, I think.
What kind of work did you do?
I was a caseworker for the City Department of Social Welfare Services, but I also remember being a fighter pilot named Randall something or other. Starts with a K.
Marital status?
Single.
Were you ever married?
I think I was. I knew this woman, but nah, forget it.
Did you serve in the military?
I don't want to discuss it.
I'm just asking if you served in the military.
I said I don't want to discuss it. Go on to something else.
All right. Were you ever hospitalized?
Why are you asking me all these questions?
This is part of the initial assessment process.
Process? Did you say process?
Yes, I did. Is there a problem?
You don't by any chance work for the cell phone company, do you?
No. I told you before, I'm Dr. Kepperman, and I'm a psychiatrist, and this is City General Hospital.
You expect me to believe that? How stupid do you think I am?
No, Dave, I'm not questioning your intelligence.
Then cut the crap. You kidnapped me to force me to reprogram my cell phone. Well, I won't do it. My cell phone is evil, and you are evil. I want out of here now.
This is not the cell phone company, and I am not a cell phone employee.
Stop pulling the wool over my eyes. You tech support guys think you're so clever, but you're not.
It seems like you have some negative feelings about your cell phone company.
Yes, I do. But that gives you no right to force me to do anything against my will.
Force you to do what, for instance?
Don't make me bring it up. It's just too painful.
I want to know.
You people just won't stop, will you? Stop tormenting me. You made me jump through hoops to get my cell phone programmed, and now you want to do it again. Stop it, I say. Stop it now!
Dave, I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, let me show you. Where is it?
Where's what?
My cell phone, or should I say my device.
The hospital took your personal belongings and placed them in storage. Don't worry, they are secured.
You took my cell phone.
Yes?
First you torture me, and then you steal from me your instrument of torture. You people are so diabolical. You want to destroy all the evidence of your plot to drive me mad. That's it, isn't it? I wish Emily was here.
Who is Emily?
Only the most beautiful woman I've ever met.
Sounds like you have some strong feelings for her. Is she your girlfriend?
She would be if it weren't for those two bums, Saul and Ralph. They ruined it for me.
What did they ruin?
My chances for getting it on with her. She liked me more than she liked them, and they didn't like that, so they did everything they could to make me look bad.
According to our records, it was your friends who called the ambulance.
They would say anything to get me out of the way, so they could have their way with her. Now, it's one thing to cart me to a hospital, but it is something else entirely to cart me to my cell phone company.
I told you this is a hospital.
And I told you that I'm not buying that. Just level with me, that's all I ask. If you want me to reprogram my phone, I will. I'll do anything to get out of here.
Did anything happen to you that had anything to do with your cell phone?
You should know you people have my records.
Have you been hospitalized here before?
This is no hospital. This is a POW camp, and I'm a prisoner of war.
I assure you that you are in a hospital.
Whatever you say. I won't waste my time arguing with you.
What happened to bring you here?
If I tell you, will you let me go?
That all depends.
Conditions. More conditions. I bet you're reprogramming my phone right now to slam me down and shut me up. You people don't like that I'm on to you, so do your thing and keep sending me stupid asinine messages to drive me crazy. It won't work. From here on, I'm giving you only my name, rank, and serial number.
You are not a prisoner of war.
Like hell I'm not. I know my rights under the Geneva
I
Convention.
repeat, you are not a prisoner of war.
We are at war and you are my enemy. You are trying to hack into my life by using my cell phone or device or whatever you call it to suck information out of me like vampires. You'll have to kill me because there is no way I'm going to take part in your nefarious plans.
That is not true. I'm trying to help you.
That's what they all say. You must be Russian. Are you Russian? Every day I hear on the news how the Russians are trying to infiltrate and take over. Admit it. You are Russian.
No, I am not Russian.
Well, listen, Boris, your ruse won't work with me. I'm not for sale. And you can keep my cell phone. You used to torture someone else. Maybe Emily was in on this plot. Maybe she was using her charms to lull me into complacency. I hate her. She was playing with me. She never really cared.
You're losing me here, Dave.
Don't you see? All of you are part of a conspiracy to control me. You, Saul, Ralph, Emily, all of you. But why me? I'm just a retiree. I'm not even a politician.
A lot of things seem to be bothering you, Dave. I'm here to help you sort them out.
Sweet words are what got me into trouble. So weak, so impressionable. Ralph and Saul asked me to join them for a friendly chat. I should have known better. Maybe they were the ones who keep sending me those awful texts.
You seem to be greatly preoccupied with thoughts about your cell phone.
It's the most diabolical instrument of torture ever invented by mankind, or should I say humankind? I don't want to offend anyone, especially Emily. She's not a man, but she is human. Or maybe she is a man, and maybe I'm a woman, and I don't even know it. Am I a woman?
What do you think?
You tell me. Maybe I should pull down my pants and let you check for yourself.
No, that is not necessary.
You're not interested. I don't blame you. What I have doesn't work anymore anyway. Haven't used it in years.
Why haven't you used it in years?
Lost my drive. Lost my juices. I'm old. Worn out. Had my fun. But that time is now past. Put it away permanently. No more diddling with my diddle stick. But then Emily showed up and I felt something stir. That old feeling came back like I had when I was a young stud, riding women left and right. You know, when I was a man.
Tell me more about when you were a man.
There's not much to tell. I was always infatuated with women, but also terrified of them, afraid that they would reject me. Rejection is so painful, but also so liberating. Who the hell wants to live with them? Deal with their nagging and bitchiness? Do you feel the same way? You're a man, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a man.
Then you should understand exactly what I'm talking about. Women hate us. They torment us with their seductive clothes and manipulations, all meant to drive us crazy.
Do you have any particular woman in mind?
Yes, I do, but how do I know I can trust you?
Because I'm a medical doctor.
That's just a front. You're a mind picker, that's what you are.
Okay, Dave. I'm not here to argue with you. If you do not cooperate, then I will not be able to help you.
Oh, the old turn the table on the victim routine. But it won't work with me. I'm already on to you. Now I know your name is Boris, and you're in cahoots with the agency that wants my brain. But you can't have it. It's in my head, and that's where it will stay. You hear?
Calm down, or I'll have to sedate you.
You Russians are clever, posing as doctors and refugees and whatnot.
I am not Russian.
Your denial means nothing. You are a KGB operative who has infiltrated into my country and maybe my brain. Who else is working with you? Saul? Ralph? Emily? Are they part of your gang? Next thing, you'll be forcing me to eat borscht. Personally, I prefer pastrami, but it's bad for my cholesterol level.
You mentioned a particular woman. Can you tell me more about her?
I don't want to. You're KGB, you're a mind picker, you're messing with my mind. I don't even know why I'm wasting my time talking with you.
I told you why. You were at dinner, had some sort of mental lapse, your friends called an ambulance, which brought you here.
Emily's responsible. I knew it. She was playing with me. She wanted me to flip so she could get into my head and suck it dry. Women do stuff like that.
Do you know any Russians who are posing as refugees?
Why do you ask that?
Before, you mentioned Russians posing as refugees, so I thought you might know of some.
Let me get one thing straight right now. I did not, nor would I ever help anyone into my country illegally. I'm for tight borders. No one allowed in without a guest pass.
I didn't accuse you of any wrongdoing.
But others have, and I don't like it. I was played the fool. I met her online, then we exchanged text messages for a few months. Soon her image and that of her darling little daughter, such a cute little thing, became embedded in my brain. All this happened through my cell phone from Russia, or maybe from Paris or Istanbul, who knows. She was a master manipulator. I didn't realize it then, but she wanted to use me, to try to sneak into the United States and to destroy my country. I didn't know. I didn't commit treason. Please, I beg you, don't send me up the creek without a paddle. I thought she cared.
I am not a police officer. I'm here to help you, not arrest you.
For a KGB man, you are very nice. Perhaps one day we could meet somewhere for a snack.
Thank you. Now, could you tell me about what happened with you and this woman?
What woman?
The one you met online.
Right. Anyway, next thing, this lady started bombarding me with text messages, trying to get me to meet her in Mexico and help her across the border. I became frantic. I never felt so conflicted in my life. I didn't want to say yes, but I couldn't tell her no, because if I told her no, I was afraid I would lose her, and I didn't want to lose her because I invested too much time in her already. So the text messaging went on and on and on. I wanted to smash my cell phone to make the messages stop, but didn't have the guts to do it. I feared divine retribution. My cell phone kept telling me, don't do it, don't do it. Plus, my phone wasn't insured. I thought my head was going to explode.
How did you deal with it?
By watching sports on television, especially professional football games. The noise from my television set put me to sleep within minutes. Every night, without fail.
How's your head feel now?
Like mush.
I'll give you a sedative.
Actually, I prefer watching more football.
I'll see what I could do about getting the television in your room turned on.
Thanks. Also, maybe you could do me one other favor?
What is it?
Could you go out and order me a cheeseburger deluxe and a Coke? Suddenly I'm feeling very hungry. And while you're at it, get me a pretty nurse too. Someone like Emily, but that may be asking too much.
End of scene 2.
Scene 3, time 3 months later. Place, the same restaurant as in scene 1. Saul, Ralph, and Dave were seated at the same table. Dave is about 75 pounds heavier.
It's good to have you back. We missed you.
Yeah, you gave us quite a scare. It was tough, and it was touch and go there for a while.
It's good to be home. 3 months in that hospital was more than enough for me.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
I am too.
It looks like they were feeding you good in the hospital.
There was nothing for me to do except eat, so I ate. I hope that doesn't bother you.
Not at all.
No, not in the least bit. A pal's a pal, no matter how much he weighs.
I'm still a little fuzzy over how I wound up in the hospital. Was I really that wacky?
Well, you were saying some bizarre things and getting agitated.
All I remember is that we were talking, and the next thing I'm in the hospital talking to a shrink. By the way, does that waitress still work here?
You mean Emily?
Yeah, Emily. I thought of her from time to time.
Speaking of Emily, here she is right now.
Dave, it's so nice to see you back. I hope you're feeling better.
You knew about my being hospitalized?
Yes, Saul and Ralph kept me informed.
So while I was in the hospital, you three were talking about me? Maybe laughing at me? Having some laughs at my expense?
Wait a minute, Dave. It wasn't like that at all.
No, Dave, we really cared about what was happening with you. I'm sorry you took it the wrong way.
That's right. I'm wrong, you're right. Maybe I made a mistake coming back here.
Please don't be that way. You're with friends.
Yes, you are.
You're my friend too?
Of course.
Don't patronize me. Oh, the pain in my head, it's back.
I'm not patronizing you. You've been through a lot.
Well, okay, whatever you say.
Don't worry, Dave. You're with friends.
So, what would you boys care to order? End of scene 3. Scene 4, time, later that evening. Place, an office in a government building located in Washington, D.C. On stage are Saul, Ralph, and Emily.
The agency wants to know how Dave is progressing. Any comments?
It's too soon to tell. We have to give it more time. The agency really didn't give us much to work with. They managed to wash out most of his mind, but what they embedded didn't take very well.
That's putting it mildly.
I agree. The goal is not to scramble his brain and cause him pain, but to reconfigure his neural pathways so as to render him receptive to commands while simultaneously maintaining a high level of social competency and intellectual fluidity. In other words, we don't want to transform Dave into a robot. Right now, he's not even close to being operational. His thought processes are much too organized, his emotions are too labile, and his receptivity limited at best. According to Dr. Kepperman, Dave's breakdown was caused by a transneural superrefractive overload in the anterior lobe of his brain.
That sounds serious.
It is serious. That's the part of the brain that processes and stores sensory stimuli. The cell phone was transmitting too much data too quickly for Dave to adequately process, but glitches are to be expected. The software is still in its early stages of development.
Did the agency choose the wrong subject?
No. I was part of the screening team. We exercised great care in selecting the right subject, and Dave met all the qualifications. He was retired military, was a combat veteran, had flown spy missions, had no blemishes on his record, no criminal history, and no record of serious physical or emotional impairments.
I gave him a rough time at the restaurant. I think I was too confrontational with him. Maybe that set him off and caused him to decompensate.
No, that wasn't it. When Dave came to us, his neuropsychiatric template was already in a fragmented state. The degree of fragmentation could only be estimated. Section 9A thought that they could work around the problem by transferring data into a new cell phone with more advanced circuitry, but the operation failed. It put Dave even more on edge. So don't blame yourself. We were doing our jobs, testing him out, saying inane stuff, trying to see how long he could stay stable in real time and in real situations. As you know, the results were less than optimal. He still retained fragments of his original identity, hence his confusion and paranoia. However, according to Dr. Kepperman, these symptoms are transitory and not evidence of deep organic damage.
How long do you think we can keep up this ruse?
Indefinitely. We have taken all necessary cautions to make sure he is never found. Officially, he's a missing person. If he's found, the program will shut down and his brain will cause him to lapse into a catatonic state.
But how much longer can we maintain our cover? Sooner or later, he may start remembering who he was.
That is a remote possibility, but if it happens, we will deal with it. We now have the technological potential to implant ideas into the human mind. Once we perfect that technology, then we will proceed to stage 2, worldwide application. The whole world will march to the beat of one central drum, our drum. Peace and serenity will flourish. Human strife will become a relic of the past. For the first time in history, people will not have to live in fear.
But what about free will?
It will be abolished. Free will is what got us humans into trouble in the first place. It's just another term for licentiousness. Over and over again throughout history, it has brought us to the brink of destruction. To save humanity, we must act now to eliminate free will once and for all.
But isn't free will an inalienable right?
Pure liberal poppycock based on a lie. Clever politicians concocted that myth to legitimize their own grab to power. The Declaration of Independence includes the words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What Mr. Jefferson and his associates conveniently failed to add was the disclaimer at someone else's expense. Look at what unrestrained exercise of free will has produced. Non-stop wars, riots, crime, domestic strife, the whole gamut of social maladies that place the entire human race at risk. We're not the bad guys here, we're the good guys. We're the cavalry coming to save the day, to save humanity from itself.
I don't mean to press the point, but who are we to try to reverse what is a part of human nature?
We are the people who are fed up with the chaos sown by others who want to keep us divided. Unity means strength. Disunity means weakness. You're familiar with Lincoln's House Divided speech, aren't you? In that speech, Lincoln said, and I quote, "If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand," close quote. He was right. Diversity is just another word for division, which pits man against man, woman against woman, woman against man, man against woman, group against group, nation against nation, and the class against class, and is the cause for all the infighting that makes life miserable for all of us. That is why the government created our agency. known to the public as the Federal Agency for Interactive Research, or FAIR, to deal with this threat once and for all.
So the public is in on this?
No. Our project is top secret. Officially, FAIR's mission is to coordinate and monitor all publicly funded scientific research. However, its secret mission is to provide bureaucratic cover, logistical support, and most importantly, an unimpeded stream of funding for this project. Due to its very nature, our project must be cloaked in secrecy. Now, do either of you have any more questions?
No, I'm good.
Me too.
And don't waste my time asking me foolish questions. Concentrate your energies on completing our mission and take pride in the knowledge that you are on the cutting edge of something new, something that will elevate humanity to new levels of accomplishment and guarantee our security and survival.
I do feel pride, but I must admit that occasionally I have second thoughts about what we're doing.
That's normal. After all, it takes tremendous willpower to reverse a lifetime of social conditioning. I struggle with it too. We all do. We've been brainwashed to believing that free will is good and that any alternative is bad, even unnatural. But we must get beyond that and look at the larger picture, for the greater good.
Hitler and Stalin said much the same thing.
So they did, but with one important difference. They lacked the technological capability and the imagination to systemically restructure human thought. Instead, they relied on brute force to break down resistance and impose their will. We will not have to resort to barbaric and disruptive tactics. Our method, once perfected, will be painless, no fuss, no bother, modern technology that will unite the entire human race.
If only Dave knew what he was doing for humanity.
It's too bad we can't do more to ease his pain.
Stop thinking such sentimental rubbish. I noticed that you seem to be gravitating to him. It would be unwise for you to become emotionally involved. By doing so, you will lose all sense of objectivity and place the entire project in jeopardy. And as section chief, I will not let that happen.
He's still a human being.
We know that, but he's not the person he used to be, literally. He's a test subject, period. Under other circumstances, he and I could have been the best of friends. It's too bad.
It's tempting to throw caution to the wind and tell Dave about the project, but we can't tell him ever. It would destroy our work and destroy his mind.
What if his memory comes back in one spurt?
Then we have to consider implementing emergency procedure number 3.
Oh, I hope it doesn't come to that.
We all hope that.
When we signed on to this project, we all took an oath of absolute fidelity to the program. Don't forget that. The agency informed each of us upfront about the purpose of this project and what it would entail. The time for having second thoughts is past.
Yes, I know that.
There can be no it's just that. Let me repeat. The time for having second thoughts is past. Right now, our immediate task is to protect the integrity of the project, which means keeping Dave under control while we reprogram the software to eliminate the glitches. We can't have Dave malfunctioning again. Dave's hospitalization gave us time to reconfigure certain circuits to block extraneous messages that could trigger an adverse response. This time the device will work. It must work. We must move this project forward. This is the essence of the funding is limited. The agency is depending on us, so let's do this, do it right for the sake of science, and for our country, and for the world. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Me too.
Good. Now let's get back to work. We have a new world to build.
And conquer. End of scene 4. Scene 5, time, same as scene 4. Place, Dave's apartment. Dave is alone. He's talking to his cell phone.
I know you're inside there, my little friend. No need to hide. I won't hurt you. I couldn't hurt you. We're buddies. I don't hate you anymore. I just wish you wouldn't be so quick with the switch. Makes my head hurt and makes me feel so tired. We served together somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. Everything is so fuzzy. I have all these images flashing through my brain. Planes, tanks, uniforms, women, Captain Randall Kalvokian, whoever he might be. Let me call my mother. Maybe she can help me sort things out. But you know what? I don't remember my mother's name. How can I not remember my mother's name? What guy can ever forget his own mother's name? What the hell is happening to me? Who am I?
The end.
The end.